Hello, welcome back to some APBA baseball with my new 1984 set. Just doing a knockoff game between the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. The Chicago Cubs won the National League East that year. The Reds weren't that great, but they gradually got better as the 80s continued and then ended up winning the World Series in the 90s. And 84 was when Pete Rose returned to the Reds. I'm pretty sure it was midseason, but he has a card and he's starting today. As far as lineups, I kind of used this. Again, this was my first experience with this, is the set I ordered from APBA itself didn't have this. And so I guess this is something that they sent in the old sets. So basically, kind of used the lineup that Chicago and the Reds had roughly. Made some changes myself. So, again, just a one-off. Just wanted to play a game with my new set and show it off. So here we go. So on the mound for the Reds will be Mario Soto. He is a B with an X modifier. On the mound for the Cubs will be Rick Sutcliffe, who is a B with an X and a Z, I believe. I'll show you their cards. So here we got Sutcliffe. And for the Reds, got Mario Soto. So, yeah, Sutcliffe is an X and a Z. So Sutcliffe with a bit more control than Soto. Struggling with a cough today, so bear with me. So anyway, as just my unboxing, these cards are just in wonderful shape. Very, very pleased. Generally speaking, with the APBA, I would want most of my seasons to be the the new sets with the stats and all the players and things like this. But I did want one season that was kind of retro, and like I said, this one is working out very well. So anyway. The Reds in defense come in as a number 2. They've got 36. The Cubs come in at a number 1. So defense is a little better. So anyway, here we go from Riverfront Stadium, 1984 National League Baseball. So Denier leading off gets a 44, and that's a 9 on the B column. So Soto is a B, so that's a single to short. So Concepcion not able to catch it, and the Cubs have the first base runner of the game. Excuse me. That brings up Ryan Sandberg. That's a 21, which is a 30 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a fly out to left field. Cesar Cedeno, former Astro, will put it away for out number 1. Gary Matthews, the Sarge, steps to the plate. Playing left field today. So Bob Denier still at first. And that's an 11. That's going to be a second column roll. And he gets a 12 or a 66. And that is out of here. So just like that, before the fans can even get their popcorn, the Cubs are up by 2. So, 1 out, nobody on, 2 runs in for Leon Durham, the Bull at first base, and he gets a 51. And that's going to be a 9, which is on the B is going to be another single over short. So the Cubs not having any difficulty with Mario Soto early on here in the game. Keith Moreland, third baseman, or playing right field rather today, steps up. And that's a 15, which is an 8. So with a 1 grade pitcher, a runner on first, runner's out at first, or the batter is out at first, 5-3. And Durham will make it to second. So Nick Asaski catches the slow grounder for out number 2. And the Cubs have a runner on second with 2 out. Jody Davis, catcher, steps up. He gets a 42, which is a 36. And that's going to be a wild pitch. So Soto throws it wildly, and Brad Golden, the catcher, not able to field it. So that will put Leon Durham at third base. Jody Davis still at the plate with a runner on third. That's a 61. There's a 24 in the two column. With 2 outs, that's a ground ball to shortstop. So Concepcion will field that one. Throw on to Pete Rose at first. And that'll do it, but not before the Cubs get a couple runs on 3 base hits. There were no errors. 1 runner left after a half an inning. Chicago 2, the Reds coming to bat. Get back to our empty bases. So Eddie Milner playing center field will lead off. Again, Rick Sutcliffe on the mound is a B with an X and a Z. It's a 32, which is a 26, and again, the Cubs are a 1. So that's going to be a ground ball to second base, and Rhino will field it. Throw on to Leon Durham for out number 1. Pete Rose just back from Montreal. I actually remember when he came back, so being a Reds fan. 43 is a 29, and that's going to be a strikeout as Sutcliffe has the X. So Pete Rose goes down for out number 2. So 2 out, nobody on for Cesar Cedeno, the former Astro. He gets a 13, which is a 14, and that's going to be a walk. So 2 out runner for the Reds, and that brings up Dave Parker, the former Pirate. I remember when we traded for him, I was actually disappointed because I didn't like Dave Parker because he was a Pirate, and it just didn't seem right to be rooting for a guy that I had rooted against for so long. But anyway, Dave Parker with Cesar Cedeno on first. That's a 14. That's a 30. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Matthews in left. And he will squeeze it for out number 3. So no runs, no hits, no errors, runner left. After 1 complete, Chicago 2-0. All right, so bottom third of the lineup for the Cubs, Ronce, former Dodger. And he gets a 22, which is a 7, and that's a single to right. So he goes the other way. Dave Parker will throw it in, holding Say to a single. Larry Boa, former Philly, with a runner on first. And that's a 55, so that's an 8 with a B. That's going to be a slow grounder to third. And all Sasky can do is throw out Boa for out number 1. Ron Say will move to second, so it brings up Rick Sutcliffe with Ron Say on second base, 1 out. And that's a 65, which is a 35 in the 2 column. And that's going to be popped up in foul ground. Nick Sasky will head over to the dugouts and put it away for out number 2. 2 away, runner on second base. Bob Dernier singled and scored last inning, and he gets a 16, which is a 28. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Concepcion throws on to Pete Rose once again for out number 3. So Soto with a better inning as the Cubs strand a runner on. We will head to the bottom half of the second. Still 2-0 Chicago. Dave Concepcion, my favorite player growing up, will lead off here in the bottom of the second. He gets a 13, which is a 14, and that's going to be a walk. That's the second walk issued by Rick Sutcliffe. No hits so far for the Reds. Nicosaski. Remember one time we were, it was a really cold, bad day. Nicosaski was hitting, and there was almost nobody in the fan or in the park and at Riverfront, and we had seats down the third base line. And I remember he hit a line drive down the line. It was foul, but it wasn't too far foul. And there was a guy who was asleep, and I mean he was there. It probably wasn't 5 people in that whole section, but it hit the seat next to him, and it obviously woke him up. But it would have killed him if it would have hit him, because I mean it was Nicosaski could hit some bullets. And so, but thankfully it hit the seat next to the guy. So I was telling my friend, you probably don't want to be asleep in a seat like that. Anyway, Nicosaski's up with Concepcion on first. That's a 36, which is a 33. And that's going to be popped up on the infield. Ronce will call for it. And Nicosaski is retired by his opposite number for out number 1. Ron Oster will step up next. Switch hitting second baseman. Oh, he gets a 66, so that's going to be a second column roll. And he gets a 66 again. Can you believe that? I don't think I've ever did doubles, 66 twice. And that's a home run over the left field fence. So Ron Oster displaying some oomph. Actually, there was only 3 places. Well, I guess with a runner on first, 5 would be a home run. He had a couple of those, but at any rate, Ron Oster ties it up. So, Brad Golden, playing catcher today, will step up with the bases empty and 1 out. That's a 34, which is a 31. And that's fly out to Bob Dernier in center field, and he will track it down for out number 2. Mario Soto, 2 out, nobody on. Gets a 64, which is a 13. With 2 outs, that'll be a fly out to center field as well. So that'll do it for the Reds, but they get 2 runs on a hit, no errors, nobody left. After 2 complete, we are tied at 2. Ryan Sandberg, he flew out in his first at bat. Gets a 26, is a 13. And the Reds are a 2 column, and that's going to be a strikeout, as there's not 2 outs. Gary Matthews had the big 2-run home run for the Cubs. And he gets a 66 again. So we'll see. Double column. 56. And that's going to be a 6. So that's actually going to be a double to right center. It'll bounce to the wall. Parker will throw it back in. But not before Matthews is on second with a double. So he's having a great game today. Home run and a double. So Leon Durham singled in his first effort of the game. Made it to third on a wild pitch, but that was as far as he got. That's a 51 with a 9. And that's a B, so that's a single over second. The runner scores. A slow runner's out at home, and Matthews is a fast runner, so the Cubs have quickly regained the lead, as Mario Soto is not looking especially sharp today. 3-2 Cubs. So Keith Moreland, he grounded out to Nicosaski in his first at bat. You got Durham on first base. That's a 24. That's a 13 in the 2 column. And that's a strikeout. So strikeout number 2 for Soto, who could strike him out with the best of him in his prime. We'll face Jody Davis, who grounded out to end the first. That's a 42. That's a 36. And that's yet another wild pitch. Runner to second base. And Leon Durham has been on base both times, so he must be doing something to distract Mario Soto. So Jody Davis will get a crack at knocking in a run. with Durham on second base, 2 out. That's a 41, which is a 24, and that's going to be popped up on the infield. Dave Concepcion will put it away to end the inning, but 1 run, 2 base hits, no errors. The Cubs leave 1, and after 2.5, the Cubs have regained the lead, 3-2. Eddie Milner, top of the order here for the Reds in the third. He grounded out to second in his first effort. It's a 61, which is a 40. And that's going to be a foul. So strike number 1. And he gets a 66. Boy, I haven't rolled this many 66s since I've been playing this game. That's a 14, so that's going to be a double into the gap. And with Milner's speed, he will reach second with no difficulty at all. So the tying run on second base with nobody out for Pete Rose. Fans on their feet. Pete just back into Cincinnati. Exciting time here in 1984. He struck out in his first effort. It's a 64, which is a 37 in the 1 column. And that's a double play, a fly out to right field. And Milner was trying for third and is gunned down by Keith Moreland out there. So how about that for a revolting development? Yep, so he's out to right field for out number 1. It's a double play as Milner is gunned down 9-5 for out number 2. So just like that, that leadoff double is erased. So Cedeno will step up with nobody on and 2 out. He walked in his first at bat. It's a 25, which is an 8, and he's a B pitcher, and that's a fly out to center field. So Bob Dernier chases it down into left center field gap. And that will do it for the Reds. So they get a hit, but don't leave anyone on. After 3 complete, the Cubs are still up by 1. So really enjoy these old cards. Again, they just a big part of this hobby that I enjoy is the nostalgia. And so, it's just something about these old cards, the old style. Again, most of my sets, I wouldn't want like this, but I'm very glad I picked up one. So Ronce singled his first at bat. That's 56. That's a 34 in the 2 column. And that's popped up on the infield. And once again, Dave Concepcion, who made the last out, last inning, makes the first one in this one. Larry Boa grounded out to third in his first at bat. It's a 42, which is a 27 in the 2 column. And that's an X, which Soto has, so that's a strikeout. So, see, that's strikeout number 3 for Soto. And under 4 innings of work. So Rick Sutcliffe up with 2 out, nobody on, and he gets a 1-1, so he's going to get a second column. That's a 35, which is a 6, and he's going to proceed to double. So how about that? Neither pitcher fooling anybody today. So Sutcliffe is on second base, and Bob Dernier has an opportunity to drive in a run. He is singled and grounded out in his 2 at-bats. That's a 65, which is a 35 in the 2 column. And that's going to be fouled out and foul ground once again. Nick Kosaski a little closer to fair ground will make this one for out number 3. So no runs, a hit, runner left. We go to the home half of the 4th. Chicago up by 1. The Cobra, Dave Parker, will step up. He flew out to left field back to end the first. Rick Sutcliffe, once again, a B with an X and a Z on the mound. That's a 51, which is an 8. And as a B pitcher, that's a fly out to center field. So the damage would be much worse if these pitchers were not B grades. Concepcion walked and scored. It's a 21, which is a 30, so that'll be a fly out to left field. Matthews will squeeze it for out number 2, and Nick Kosaski, who popped up his opposite number last at bat. Gets a 51. That's a 14, and he's going to proceed to draw a walk. That's the third walk issued by Sutcliffe, who is a Z pitcher, so normally he has better control than this, but a little wild today. So Ron Oster, who had the big 2-run jack back in the second inning, gets a 43 this time. That's a 29 in the one column. And he's not a Y, so that's going to be a bounce back to the pitcher. Sutcliffe will underhand it to Durham, and that will do it for the Reds in the fourth. Top of the fifth, 3-2 Chicago. Ryan Sandberg will lead things off here in the fifth. He is flied out and struck out. And he gets a 1-1, which is a 2. And that's going to be a liner into the left center field gap. Cedeno and Milner will chase it down, get a bad hop, not able to get to it, and Sandberg will race into third with a triple. So how about that? So that'll bring up Gary Matthews as the Reds will bring the infield in. Matthews is only homered and doubled so far. He gets a 13, which is a 14, with a runner on third, and that's going to be a walk. So that's the first walk Soto's given up. So Leon Durham, who has singled twice and driven in a run, will have runners on the corner, and I think the Reds will still have the infield in, trying to cut off that run at the plate if they can, keep the lead down to 1. That's a 13, which is a 14. And with 2 outs, that's base on balls, filling the bases. So Mario Soto in trouble here in the fifth. Bases jammed full of Cubs. Keith Moreland, who is 0 for 2, will step up into the right-handed batter's box. Infield still in. That's a 62, which is a 26. And with the infield in, that's a single through second. Runners advance 2 bases. So there you have it. So that infield in didn't work that time, as that would be a 2-run single. Oop, what am I doing? I'm giving him too much. Durham will be at third. Moreland with a big clutch hit. Drives in 2. And they'll give Soto one more at bat. They're going to go ahead and put the infield back, however. So we got runners on the corners, nobody out. See if he can get a strikeout here. That's a 35, which is a 14. And he proceeds to load the bases again. So it's not Soto's day, to say the least. Let's see who the Reds got on the pitching wise. They got John Franco and Ted Power. Let's see, where does Soto do to hit next inning? He's actually due second. Well, let's see what he does here. The infield back. Ronce at the plate and give him one more chance. That's a 43, which is a 29. Column 2. Actually, we have the bases loaded, don't we? So again, we got a 43, which is a 29 in column 2. Batter safe at first. Fielder's choice. Runner forced at home. Other runners advance 1 base. So they get has actually bounced back to the pitcher, so they get 1 out at least. Durham is out 1-2. Everybody will advance one, so we'll get one out. Maybe get a double play and get out of this. The base is still loaded, however. That's a 16, which is a 28. With the runners back. So they're trying to get a fielder's choice, so they get the runner out at second, 6-4. And everybody else goes up one. So Moreland will score. So not able to get the double play is what they tried. Davis goes to third. Moreland is out. Let's see, 16, 28. He was out 6-4. Fielder's choice for Boa. And strike or RBI for Boa. All right, so Rick Sutcliffe up. Looks like we got runners on the corners now. 3 runs in here for the Cubs in the 5th. And that's a 14, which is a 30. And that's going to be a fly out to left field. So Soto finally gets out of it. That's out number 2 there. 1, 2, 3 runs. On 1, 2, only 2 base hits. He had 3 walks, however. They left 2 on, so it is now 6-2. So Brad Golden, lead off for the Reds here in the bottom of the 5th, as the Cubs have gained a substantial lead. It's a 21, that's a 30, and a 1 column. That's a fly out to left field. Sutcliffe is just mowing along here. So again, that'll be it for Soto. They'll bring in Dwayne Walker to pinch hit. I remember watching a ball game on TV one time, and I believe it was the Pirates and the Red, and there was a situation where Bob walked Dwayne Walker. I don't know why I remember that, but I thought that was funny at the time. It's a lot of walking going on. All right, so Dwayne Walker, seeing if he can get the Reds going. It's a 23. That's a 27 in the 1 column. Sutcliffe is an X, so he proceeds to strike out the pinch hitter. So Eddie Milner will take his cracks with 2 outs. He's doubled and was erased trying to tag up on a fly ball. Gets a 61, which is a 40, and that's going to be a foul ball. Gets a 56, which is a 34, and that's going to be popped up, and Larry Bowa will get it for out number 3. So Sutcliffe cruising along. The Reds will bring in, we'll go with John Franco. Had quite a few good years with the Reds and the Mets. So he is a B with a Y modifier. And he will start off with the leadoff man, Bob Dernier, who is 1 for 3 here in the top of the 6th. And he gets a 55, which is a 9 on the B, and that's a single over short. So Cubs just killing the Reds today. That's hit number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hit number 10. So Franco not faring any better than Soto so far. Ryan Sandberg is tripled in 3 at-bats. He gets a 64, which is a 36. And that's another wild pitch. So that's the 3rd wild pitch today for the Reds. So that'll put runner on second. Nobody out for Ryan Sandberg. That's a 31, which is an 8. And that's going to be out at first. The runner makes it to third as a slow dribbler to the mound. Out 1 to 3 for out number 1. So Gary Matthews will step up with Dernier at third. They're going to keep the infield back at this point. And he gets it again. How about that? And that's a 55, and that's out of here. His second home run of the game to go along with the double. And it is all Cubs so far today. All right, nobody on base for Leon Durham, who singled twice and walked. He gets a 21 this time, which is a 13, so he'll proceed to strike out for out number 2. Keith Moreland had a big 2-run single last inning, as the Cubs are just batting one inning here. That's a 26, and that's going to be, see, we're in the 2 column, so that's going to be a ground ball to second. Oster will throw him out, so Franco comes in and proceeds to give up 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, nobody left. And we will head to the home half of the 6th. Let's see, that is at 5, 8 to 2. No, I didn't have him. I didn't get Dernier scoring. Eight to 2 Cubs. So the Reds have their work cut out here. Sutcliffe pitching a very good game other than that home run to Oster. It's a 34, which is a 31. Fly out to center field. Bob Dernier will take it for out number 1. Cesar Cedeno is walked and flied out. Gets a 36. That's a 33. And that's going to be popped out up on the infield. Sandberg will wave everyone off and squeeze it for out number 2. Dave Parker's 0 for 2 today. He gets a 26. It's a 32. That's going to be drive out to right field, but Moreland is right there. Catches the line drive for out number 3. So for the second inning in a row, Sutcliffe has made short order of the Reds. We go to the top of the 7th. 8 to 2 Chicago. Jody Davis has walked in 3 at-bats. He gets a 26, which is a 24 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Concepcion will field it, throw him out for out number 1. Ron Say is 1 for 3. And he gets a 33, which is a 6. That's going to be a double. So the Cubs just killing it. Larry Boa will bat with Say at second base. That's a 51. That's a 9. And he is a B grade, so that's a single over second. Slow runner out at home, and Say is a slow runner. So how about that? So Say gets gunned down. Milner throws him out at the plate, as the Cubs were not playing it safe with that big lead. So he's out for number 2. Boa gets the single. And he will make it to second on the throw home. So a 2 out. Runner on second base, Rick Sutcliffe, who has doubled in 3 at-bats. We'll see if he can drive in yet another run for Chicago. That's a 56. That's a 34. And that's popped up on the infield once again. And Oster calls it to end the inning. So the Reds catch a break there as they give up 2 hits, but get only 1 runner left on. 7th inning stretch time. Chicago up 8 to 2. All right, Concepcion will lead off. He has walked and scored. That's a 25, which is a 10 on the B column. And that's a single to center field, so line drive up the middle. Concepcion leads off with a hit, so not giving up here for the Reds. So Nick Osaski has walked and popped out with the runner on first. That's a 45, which is a 14. And that's a 1 column. And that Sutcliffe is a Z. So on this one particular one, that will be 2 balls. So Osaski will try again. That's a 16, which is a 28 in the 1 column. And that's going to be fielder's choice 6-4. So Boa gives it to Sandberg to retire Concepcion, but they're not able to turn the double play. So Osaski's on first. Ron Oster, who has a 2-run home run, the only offense for the Reds today, gets a 26, and that's a 13, and he proceeds to strike out. So out number 2. Brad Golden, 0 for 2 today, gets a 36. That's a 36. And that's another wild pitch. So pitcher's having a hard time. That's the first one for the Cubs. But the Reds have gave up 3. So runner on second. 2 away for Brad Golden still. He gets a 63, which is a 32 in the 1 column. And that's going to be a fly ball to right field. So Moreland will catch it, and that'll do it for the Reds. No runs on a hit, no errors. They leave on 1. We go to the top of the 8th, still 8-2 Chicago. Yeah, this Cub team in 1984 was pretty good. Too bad they couldn't get by the Padres in the National League Championship. Top of the order, Bob Dernier, who is 2 for 4. Gets a 26. That's a 30. That'll be a fly ball out to left field. Cedeno will catch it for the first out of the 8th. Sandberg is tripled in 4 at-bats. He gets a 46, which is a 13, and he proceeds to strike out for out number 2. So Franco getting a little mojo here in his last inning of work. You got Matthews, who's hit 2 2-run home runs. He gets a 28 in the 2 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Concepcion will fire and throw him out for out number 3. All right, bottom of the 8th. Reds with just a couple at bats here left. They will pinch hit for Franco. See who we got. Let's bring up Eric Davis. I know he was just a rookie at that time, but let's give him a crack. Going to pinch hit. That'll be it for Franco. All right, so Sutcliffe trying to see if he can get the complete game here. So Eric Davis will take his cracks. He gets a 41. That's a 28 in the 1 column. And that's going to be hit to short. Boa throws out the speedy Eric Davis for out number 1. Eddie Milner is doubled in 3 at-bats. And he gets a 1-1, so he'll get a second column crack. It's a 54. That's a 6, so he's going to double. That's his second double of the game. So Pete Rose, who's 0 for 3 today, seeing if he's got any magic left in his old bat. He gets a 31, which is a 9 on the B, and that is indeed a single over second. And the runner scores as Milner is fast. So Pete Rose with an RBI single as the remaining fans here congratulate their hometown hero with the RBI single. And the Reds have cut the lead to 5. So Pete Rose on first for Cedeno with 1 out. That's a 43, which is a 29. And that's going to be out at first, the runner to second. Back to the pitcher, so a little dribbler, but only able to get Cedeno at first for out number 2. All right, Dave Parker with the runner on second. He's flied out 3 times to all 3 fields, so 44, that's a 7 with a B. That's a single to right. The runner scores. So a line drive over Sandberg's head. Moreland will grab it, but Rose will score from second with 2 outs. He going at the crack of the bat. And the Reds are making a game of this. So the Cubs got the bullpen going as Sutcliffe has given up 4 runs. Let's see what he can do with Concepcion. Concepcion has singled and walked today. That's a 15. That's an 11. And how about that? That's a single over first, runner to third, and then Concepcion proceeds to steal the base. So a single, stolen base. So that'll put runners on second and third with 2 outs for Nick Asaski. So that's going to be it for Sutcliffe. Let's go to the mound here. I'm pretty sure I know who I need. If I can find him, Lee Smith, probably. Yeah, let's go with Lee Smith. They're not messing around. So Lee Smith, big right-handed pitcher, 6'5", 220. He is a B with an X and a Z. All right, so he'll see what he can do. 2 outs. Nick Asaski at the plate. Runners on second and third. Big at bat here. Reds trying to get back into this. That's a 12, which is a 12 on the 1 column. And that's actually going to be a fly out to left field. So runners on second and third. So Nick Asaski hits it out to left. But that will be caught by Matthews, and that'll do it. So the Reds get a couple runs, 4 base hits. There were no errors. They left 2 on. We go to the top of the 9th. The score is 8-4. So we have to find a new pitcher. So the Reds will go with Ted Power. The 3rd Cincinnati pitcher of the day. Big right-hander. He is a B with a Y. Face Leon Durham here in the top of the 9th, trying to keep the deficit to 4 to give him at least somewhat of a chance in the bottom of the 9th here at Riverfront Stadium. Durham has singled twice, RBI, walked. He's had a pretty decent day. That's a 63, which is a 32. That's fly ball out to right field. Dave Parker catch it for 1 out. Keith Moreland's got a 2-run single for his efforts today. 45 is a 14, and he's going to draw a walk. His power is he's just a Y. A lot of walks given up by the Reds today. Quite a few of them have scored. So Jody Davis, runner on first, 1 out. Take his efforts, his cracks here at Ted Power. That's a 26, which is a 24 in the 2 column. And that's a 6-4-3 double play. Made to order. Concepcion over to Oster, over to Rose. So Power does his job. As the Reds will get one last crack at the Cubs here in the bottom of the 9th. Down by 4. He did score 2 last inning, so we got Ron Oster leading off. And Lee Smith still on the mound for the Cubs. So 45, which is a 14, and he walks. So, few remaining fans here at Riverfront. getting a little excited. Brad Golden, the runner on first. He is 0 for 3 tonight. And he gets a 66, so how about that? Second column crack here for Golden. He gets a 36, and that's going to be a double. Runner on third scores if he's fast. Oster is average, so he will not score. So he will just go to third. So Lee Smith is their closer. They're going to win or lose it with him. So that's a pinch hitter. So let's see who we can get up to bat. We got Walker already. Gary Reedus. Let's try to give Gary Reedus a shot. So Gary Reedus will step up. Lee Smith, they're going to have the infield back. They're needing some outs here. So second and third. Nobody out. Gary Eugene Reedus from Alabama gets a 14, and that's a 30. And they're in the one column, and that's a fly out. Runner scores, the other runner holds. So that'll get Oster home, but the Cubs get that big out. Golden holds at second, and the Reds are going to play it safe with him, by the way. They don't want him to get thrown out, so he's a slow runner. So that's a sacrifice fly, out number 1 for Gary Reedus. And it is now 8-5 for Eddie Milner. We got a runner on second. Milner has doubled twice today. He gets a 15. How about that? That's an 11 on the B column. That's a single to left. The runner is out at home. Oh, man. A fast would have scored, but even with me playing it safe. Well, wait a minute. I think if you play it safe, it's base to base. But I don't know. I think that is only if it's like a slow runner. I think. Yeah, feel free to give me any clarification on that. I don't know if that's just automatically, if you're playing it safe, that you go base to base irregardless of what it says, or if you're playing it safe, a slow runner can't get thrown out, but you still follow the rules. So what I'm going to do is roll the dice. So if I get a dot, he's out at home. Hey, how about that? No dot. So we're playing base to base, so I'm going to go with that for now. So Golden will go to third. Milner will single and then steal second. Yeah, so anybody hanging around the game this long, how you play that, if it's just base to base or if it's only if the slow runner, if it says he gets thrown out, you don't get him thrown out. So yeah, any clarification on that would be awesome. So with that, I can't find my, oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so we got runners on second and third. Still just one out. They're down by 3, so the tying run is at the plate. And again, with Milner, they're not going to play it safe. So we'll do business as usual because he's fast, and Golden's at third, so we're not worried about him. So Pete Rose, already with an RBI single with a chance for a great big hit here. Gets a 63. That's a 31. And that's a fly out, runners hold. So a shallow fly ball to center field. Not deep enough to score Golden. And there are 2 out. So it's up to Cesar Cedeno. He's 0 for 3 with a walk, so he's due. Lee Smith on the mound. Here's the pitch. That's a 42. That's a 37 in the one column. And that's a single. Beats out an infield hit and spikes the first baseman, who is out the next 4 games. Runners advance 1 base. So I'm not doing injury, so I'm not going to worry about that. So Golden will score. Milner makes it to first, and Cedeno is on with an infield single and an RBI. So it's 2 runs in. It is 8-6, tying run at first base. Cedeno is a fast, and they're going to hang with Lee Smith because he's the best pitcher they got. So we got runners on the corners for Dave Parker. So 2 out, runners on the corner. Dave Parker at bat, Lee Smith on the mound, tying run at first base. That's a 23, which is a 27. And that's a double play. So he goes, see, he's not a Y. So that would have been like a 5-4-3. So we'll just say he throws Cedeno out at second 5-4. And Parker is out on the fielder's choice. So we get 2 runs on 1, 2, 3 base hits. No errors, and they leave 2 runners on. So the final score, 5-6. The Cubs 8 and the Reds 6. So that was an exciting game. They made a game of it, but Lee Smith was able to hold on to the Cub lead, and so that was a lot of fun. Without having the stats on the cards, you kind of have to do a little guessing as to what these guys. I mean, I know them obviously, but I can't remember exactly what their stats were. So I guess I could have that up on the computer screen. So, but anyway, I just wanted to show off my new set and give my Cincinnati Reds a chance to beat the Cubs, but they come up just short. So I appreciate it very much, and I will see you next time.